Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video I'm going to give you 5 painful Facebook advertising mistakes that you should absolutely avoid if you want your Facebook advertising campaigns to succeed. Now, I've called these 5 painful Facebook advertising mistakes because that's what they are. If you're making these mistakes, they're painful in the fact that they're going to really jeopardize your results, and they're painful in the fact that they're really quite easy to avoid. So let's get into the list. Before I do, one thing I will quickly mention is I've got a couple of free things for you that I think you're going to be very, very interested in. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to describe those and show you exactly how you can get those free Facebook advertising resources. Okay, with that said, let's get into the list. So the first painful Facebook advertising mistake that I see people make is they think it's all about targeting. Now, when it comes to running a Facebook advertising campaign, targeting is obviously an important component. It's probably what made Facebook advertising famous, is the ability to target people with high levels of specificity. But it's not the entire story. I talk to a lot of business owners, and sometimes we have this with clients who say, you know, I just feel like we're not reaching the right people. If we could just find the right audiences, everything would work. And you kind of look at their campaigns and you think, I'm not sure that's correct. The offer, whatever it is that you're offering in your Facebook ad campaign, is enormously important. Doesn't matter how good your targeting is, if you're offering something that people don't want to buy, campaign's not going to work. Likewise, if your creative is poor, if your ad itself is not engaging, if it's not appealing, if it's not attention grabbing, then, you know, it's just not going to work, no matter how perfect your targeting might be. As I said, targeting is important. So you do want to use things like Facebook's Audience Insights tool to find great targeting options. You do want to create lookalike audience based off previous customers, all those things that I regularly talk about. And I'll include some links in the video description to other videos that show you how to use Facebook's Audience Insights and lookalikes and things along those lines. So those elements are important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Your campaign won't perform great results just because you've selected great targeting options, okay? You need more than that. Right, the second painful Facebook advertising mistake that I see is people judging results too quickly, way too quickly. So in my Facebook group, I see this all the time, where someone will post something along the lines of, I launched a Facebook ad campaign yesterday. So far, I've spent $10, it's generated 14 clicks, and one of those clicks has gone on to become a lead. Is this a high-performing campaign? Is this doing well? To which, you know, you kind of think, no one can possibly know that yet. It's way too early. 24 hours in, when you've only spent $10, you're not even close to statistically significant data. You cannot judge the results and sort of make adjustments to your campaign, decide whether or not it's working yet. It's far too early. It's too early from a time perspective, and it's too early from an advertising spend perspective. So in terms of time, I don't like to judge a campaign before 7 days. 7 days after it's launched is when I'm going to go in and start looking at the results and making adjustments. And in a lot of cases, that is too soon. Let's say, for example, you are advertising something that's a considered purchase. You know, something like a car, let's say. That's not something that someone is going to see an ad for and then buy immediately. No way. They're going to think about it. They're going to do some research. They're probably going to discuss it with their partner. There's going to be a lot of consideration there. So if you've run an ad campaign for, let's say, 3 days, and you've advertised this car to a load of different people, and you're looking at the results over the last 3 days, and you haven't generated any sales, and you're thinking, oh, this hasn't worked. We haven't generated any sales. The thing is with that sort of product is that someone could easily be shown an ad for it on, you know, let's say 2 days ago, and not buy for another month, or not buy for another, 2 months, because it's a considered purchase. Now, if you're analysing those results today, what you'll see is that you've paid for the cost because you've already done the advertising, but you haven't yet seen the revenue, seen the results within your Facebook ad account. So you'll incorrectly conclude that it hasn't worked, even though that may well go on to generate a purchase and make the campaign very successful. So one thing I would say around that is if you've run Facebook advertising campaigns in the past, and you've paused them for a while and gone on to other things, we do this all the time as an agency, go back and have a look at those previous campaigns. What you'll often find is that the return on ad spend, the results improve over time because of just what I've described. People who are being advertised to and then buying a number of days, weeks, months later, that filters through to your ad account, and you can sometimes go back and say, oh wow, we thought we were operating at a $30 cost per purchase, but actually it came all the way down to 18 cost per purchase after a while. This campaign is more profitable than we thought, particularly over the long run. Therefore, we can go ahead and run that for longer. So that's something I would strongly recommend you do. Check your old campaigns. So that's one side of it. One side is the time frame of judging results too quickly. The other side is ad spend. What are you looking to advertise? If you're advertising a a $300 service, don't spend $15 and decide that your ad campaign isn't performing well. You should be willing to spend a lot more than that to acquire a new customer. That's what a sustainable business model looks like. It's like, right, we have a $300 service. It costs us $50 to get a new customer. We can scale that. Fantastic. The numbers look brilliant. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations that mean they judge too quickly, turn things off too early when they may well be performing well. So that's a very easy Facebook advertising mistake to avoid. It's just don't judge your results too quickly. Don't come to conclusions and turn things off and all that sort of stuff after a couple of days, basically. Okay, that was mistake number 2. Facebook advertising mistake number 3 is using the wrong campaign objective. Now, you've probably heard this one before. If you've been involved in Facebook advertising, you'll see people like me talking about using the right Facebook ad campaign objective and how important that is and all that sort of stuff. But it's worth reiterating here because it is so important. Basically, when it comes to a Facebook ad campaign, you get what you ask for. If you say to Facebook, I want link clicks, you're going to get link clicks. Now, some of those people may go on to purchase, but it's not a given. Whereas with a conversions campaign, you're far more likely to generate those purchases. I see so many people saying, oh, but I wanted to send traffic to my website because I don't want them to go on to become a lead. I wanted to go on to buy. Just use a conversions campaign and optimize for leads or purchases. The other big sort of myth around campaign objectives is that you can't run a conversions campaign if you're generating less than 50 conversions a week. And everyone's heard that Facebook need 50 conversions a week or more to be able to fully optimize a conversions campaign. And that is true. But here's the thing. If you're only generating, let's say, 15, 20 conversions a week, Facebook might not be able to fully optimize the campaign, but they can get really close to being an optimized campaign. Basically, they can partially optimize that conversions campaign. And a partially optimized conversions campaign will perform so much better than a traffic campaign or a reach campaign or an engagement campaign when you want to generate conversions. Now, people just sort of parrot this as theory, and they say they've heard a Facebook advertising expert say, you can't run a conversions campaign if you generate less than 50 conversions a week. But that person, the expert that told them that, probably never tested it, and then themselves have never tested it. I've tested it. I've tested it a bunch of times. I've even got a video talking all about it where we've done the exact same campaign with a conversions campaign versus a traffic campaign, brand new ad account, the pixel's not seasoned or anything along those lines, and the conversion campaign won, and it won significantly. And I said I've replicated that test a number of times because that's the sort of thing we do as a Facebook ads agency. We're running those sorts of experiments with our clients all the time. So you definitely want to be running conversions campaign. So make sure you use that as your campaign objective. And that is what using the right campaign objective is all about. Avoid that Facebook advertising mistake. It's so easy to do. Don't let anyone tell you differently. They will want to. There's so much misinformation about about campaign objectives. But that's what I recommend you do. Okay, so that is Facebook advertising mistake number 3. Number 4 is not spending enough time or money on your ad creative. So again, it's kind of linked to mistake number 1, where people just think it's all about the targeting. But it's not. Your creative is really, really important. And if you're going to run a Facebook advertising campaign and spend thousands, tens of thousands, we've run campaigns where we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's worth spending money and time, if required, on the ad creative. The difference between a really nicely shot and edited video when it comes to when it comes to putting that in front of your audience versus something that you just kind of, it's okay, but it's not super impressive, can be enormous. It can reduce let's say your cost per purchase by 50% or reduce your cost per lead by 30%. We've seen these sorts of results when better creative has been added into an ad account. So if you're going to be spending any sort of reasonable money on the campaign itself, spending some more money on getting that creative and creating something really impressive is well worth it. Remember, that's what's being put in front of people. A lot of people seem to forget about that. They think that Facebook advertising is all about these other settings. And of course, the other settings are important, but the part that your audience sees is the most important part of a Facebook ad campaign, always. That's the thing that gets people to take action, etc., etc. So don't scrimp on that. If it requires you to get a photographer, a professional photographer, or a videographer, or a graphic designer, or someone to edit videos, create animations, etc., it's worth the investment, okay? So that's Facebook advertising mistake number 4, is not paying enough attention to the creative. People treat that as an afterthought. Again, very easy to do. There's so many professionals on sites like Upwork.com and things like that will happily take your money, won't charge a lot, but will create fantastic looking creative for you. So strongly recommend using that. Facebook advertising mistake number 5, and this is probably the easiest one to avoid ever, because it requires less effort, this, is to not overcomplicate your Facebook advertising sales funnel. So the mistake is people have 7-8 step Facebook advertising sales funnels that are way too complicated for whatever it is they're advertising. If you are advertising a $30 product, let's say, you cannot have a 7-step sales funnel. That cannot be profitable. You have to advertise each step. You're going to have huge drop off between each point. You'll end up paying $100 plus per new customer, guaranteed. Simple to advertise products and services need simple sales funnel structures. That's why one of the sales funnel structures that I use and I recommend a lot is a direct to offer strategy. Literally, let's run a conversions campaign. Let's sell this product directly to cold audiences. I think because this is somewhat sort of legacy, outdated information that people maybe 4 or 5 years ago used to talk about. Oh, you can have 4 levels of retargeting and that works really well. So that's sort of just stuck within, Facebook advertising best practices or perceived best practices. But now Facebook advertising is more expensive. And the people recommending those strategies are usually advertising services that cost tens of thousands of dollars a year, like myself, Facebook advertising related services. They're advertising $1,000, $2,000 courses, these sorts of products that require many exposures for you to buy. But if you're a carpet cleaner and you're advertising a 50% off your first clean or a free first clean or something along those lines, keep it really simple. That's as I said, that's the easiest mistake to avoid, is overcomplicating sales funnel, because it requires less effort. Put more time into getting that one ad or that 3 or 4 ads you're going to create in a simple sales funnel. Put more time into making those absolutely brilliant. Something that's going to really grab people's attention, really engage them, really want them to to check you out and do and take a look, as opposed to having a mediocre 18-step process. Okay, so those are the 5 Facebook advertising mistakes. So we've got, let me run back through the list. We've got not thinking it's all about targeting. Your offer, your creative is really important. And what else have we got? Using the wrong campaign objective. Okay, so if you use the wrong campaign objective, that is going to seriously jeopardize the results you see. We've got judging results too quickly. At least 7 days, preferably longer. Think about what you're selling. Have you spent enough to know whether this is working or not? We've got not spending enough time and money on your ad creative. Ad creatives are super important. And then we've got overcomplicating the sales funnel. If you're selling something simple, use a simple Facebook advertising sales funnel structure to sell that with. Right, at the beginning of the video, there's a couple of free things I mentioned I think you'd be interested in. So I'm going to quickly talk to you about those now before I end this video. Now, the first is my Facebook Ads Mastermind group. So free Facebook advertising group. It's got about 15,000 members in there right now. Fantastic community full of Facebook advertisers asking questions, getting answers to questions. There's loads of experts, agency owners in there like myself who are happy to help you out. So if you want your Facebook advertising questions answered, I strongly recommend you go ahead and join. We'd love to have you. Just click on the link in the video description below. That'll take you to the group. You can ask to join and I will approve that request. We'd love to have you. Second free thing is my Facebook ad template. So I've got a 5-part Facebook ad template that includes a number of really high-performing ads that we've created for our clients. We've sort of broken each ad down into its component parts, explained what we've included and why. If you're looking for better results with Facebook advertising, strongly recommend you download that. It'll help you with your creative, which I've already mentioned in this video is a very important component. So as I said, completely free, link in the video description. Go ahead and download that. And last thing I want to quickly mention is our Facebook advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is an agency that specializes in Facebook advertising. That's where all the videos I create and all the advice I give comes from, is from running experiments and doing this day in, day out for our clients. We're running hundreds of different Facebook advertising campaigns in sort of every industry, every business model you can imagine. And I've said before, I think that's why my advice is probably a lot more reliable than other people's, because mine's based, as I said, on agency work, not just running the one campaign for their business. But if you are interested in our services, you'd like us to create, optimize, manage Facebook advertising campaigns for you, we can almost certainly produce better results than what you're getting right now. As I said, we're a professional agency. There'll be a link in the video description. You can click on that, go through to my website. You can check out, there's tons of sort of testimonials and screenshots from previous campaigns, previous clients' campaigns that we've been able to sort of produce great results for, and you can see the sort of return on ad spend we've generated and things like that. So we've got the proof to back it up. And if you're spending more than $3,000 a month on Facebook ads, or looking to spend more than $3,000 a month on Facebook ads, I'd love to have a conversation with you. So as I said, click on the link in the video description, go through to my website, through to my strategy session page, and you can book a free 30-minute strategy session with me if you meet that criteria. You can apply for one of those. We'll have a conversation where I can ask a little bit more information about your business, get to know it a little bit, see if you'd be a good fit for our services, and I can explain how our services work, the charges involved, and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be great to speak to you. As I said, if you meet that criteria. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. That's much appreciated. Comment below to let me know. And of course, if you've got any questions, pop those in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Facebook advertising related content. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.